CHS, Cannabis Hyperemesis Syndrome. What does that mean? It is a definition for an illness that is claimed to come from cannabis and can cause, amongst other things, excessive vomiting, dizziness, and essentially like an allergic reaction to weed. Not the way to describe it, but that's how I'm going to, because it's not an allergic reaction. However, one thing that is not considered when we talk about cannabis hyperemesis syndrome is how or what the patients are coming into contact with. There is a substance called neem oil. There is a product or an element or a piece of neem oil called azoractin. Essentially, it's the main element of neem oil. When people have an intoxication, an exposure to azoractin, you can experience excessive vomiting. You can experience many, if not all, of the exact same symptoms as CHS. One of the things that people fail to take into consideration, or the tests fail to take into consideration when people are tested for CHS, is the fact that they are not testing for the pesticide. So let me break this down for you. People will argue that they have tried bad weed, they've tried weed and they've become sick. They vomit excessively. They get a reaction that is a negative experience to weed. And this can happen back to back to back. And so I would argue that the product that they are getting exposed to has come into contact with pesticides, either late into flowering, or it was not, or very late veg and then quickly flipped to flower. These people are being exposed to excessive pesticides. Their bodies are having a negative reaction to not the weed, but the pesticides itself. If you argue, well, I purchased weed multiple times from the store, the dispensary, and I got this over and over again. Well, was that supply? Are these coming from large grow operations? Because if that's the case, we already know that these operations have been busted for using pesticides late into flower. The vapes and or flower has been known and has been proven to be laden with pesticides. So I'm going to argue that the stuff that you're getting from the dispo is contaminated. If somebody's not getting their stuff from the dispo and they're getting it from an unsecured source, which many would argue is better, I would argue that that source is tainted. They're getting it either outdoor, they're getting it from the same place. Often in cities, or any kind of town, it's not coming from a variety of sources. There's typically one or two at the very top of the chain that are supplying everybody else. So you've got a tainted substance. So I simply do not believe that cannabis itself, clean medication, will produce any form of hyperemesis. If we were going to do a study to prove that CHS is a thing, who's going to sign up to be the pesticide control group?
You wouldn't get told. In any good control situation, you don't get told which group you get put in. So you unknowingly get put in that
So
group.
it's going to sign up to unknowingly be exposed to pesticides for the sake of a test.
Yeah.
Nobody. So there is no test out there that'll say, okay, well, it's the pesticides. Well, then show me a test where you took 100 people, exposed them to pesticides, 100 people that weren't exposed to pesticides, and let's see what happens. No one's signing up for that. So cannabis hyperemesis syndrome does not exist. It is a tainted product, and you are coming into contact with another substance, possibly azoractin or neem oil or some other pesticide. I believe it is very important to have the conversation about azoractin toxicities, pesticide overdoses. That's very important. That's a conversation to be had. It should not be called cannabis hyperemesis syndrome. That's a false, misleading term.